Hello there, and welcome to the Disgustingly Healthy Relationship Podcast. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are your hosts.
Beautiful people, it's 2024. We are no longer settling for mediocre, toxic, and shitty relationships.
Instead, we are choosing healthy, secure, and conscious love.
Lewis and I are here to challenge and expand you on all fronts when it comes to healthy relationships.
So, if you're ready for unfiltered conversations
and massive impact,
then let's play. Hello, and welcome back to the show. I've just caught Sarah eating biscuits.
I actually have got a biscuit in my mouth.
Yeah, caught Sarah quite unaware. But we are back for another episode 11.
I just said I was starving, so I grab 2 biscuits to eat.
Yeah, and then Sarah turns around and says, "I'm fucking hungry. Piss off," or something. What did you say? I said, "Sarah, you don't want to be eating biscuits before dinner." She turns around and says,
"Oh, I'm hungry."
"Oh, I'm hungry." Jeez.
But now you've pressed play before I finish my biscuits. Now I'm going to be hangry all episode.
You still got half there.
Yeah, but I can't munch. Imagine that. Imagine people listening to you eat on a podcast. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, that's not great. But you're also the one who told me to start. Can we just record, please?
Yeah, okay, I did. You're right.
Haha. So anyway, this week.
Haha.
So this week's episode is on.
I was like, waiting for you to say it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it. Sorry. It's on.
Why having high standards isn't a bad thing.
Do you think having high standards is a bad thing?
No, I don't. Obviously, that's why I wanted us to do a whole episode on why having high standards isn't a bad thing. But I think there's a few things. Oh my God, there's a few things that we need to share first of all. So we got a puppy, and he is currently tearing the living room apart.
Hold on.
Lewis has just gone to tell him off. We've literally had him for
3
days, which has equaled 3 sleepless nights. So the fact that I'm hungry right now, I'm very sleep deprived. I'm sorry if we've get our words muddled up or if we are cranky, or I don't know.
Yeah, we're a little delusional right now, but that's okay. Because we've got a new puppy. He's 11 weeks old. You might have seen him on the podcast page. His name is Finley. He's a little chocolate chip chihuahua.
Yeah, he's a chocolate coloured chihuahua boy, and he's very small and cute.
Yep, I'm literally sitting with him in my hands because if not, he'll probably be quite naughty and start biting things that he shouldn't.
Yeah, or barking at poor Bodhi, who's been very patient.
She has been, I know. Anyway, so back to the episode. So, like Sarah said, our podcast today is on high standards, essentially.
Yeah, and why they aren't a bad thing. I feel like they've got such a bad rap. I remember my mum, I know you're listening, Mum, but I remember Mum, I've had this conversation with her. I remember her saying oh yeah, you've got such high standards. Do you not think your standards are a bit high? And I remember thinking, absolutely not. The main reason that I love this topic is because it gets you, you offer something and say, for example, you have a standard of your own, you are very thoughtful and caring, or you are really good at communicating, or what else? What other good kind of standards might someone have?
They're very thoughtful. They actually make the effort.
This is what we apologize for. But anyway, whatever high standard examples you can think of, if you have them, it is more than okay to ask them of someone else or to expect them of someone else.
Yeah.
The reason that it can be a problem is if you're saying I want someone that is a millionaire and someone that will have exceptional communication skills and someone that
is unbelievably driven and ambitious and every single undertone that you can possibly infer.
Yeah, if you're asking for someone that has those things and you do not embody any of that yourself, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I
totally
agree.
That kind of leads me on to one of my points. I think that's why it's really important to get so clear on who you are and what you value and what you love and what you stand for and what you will and won't tolerate in a relationship, essentially what your values are. Because then you can go into a relationship asking for what you want based on who you are. And you know that you're not going to be asking for something of someone else that doesn't exist in you. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, sorry. That completely makes sense. That's one thing I certainly did, especially when before we dated, was getting absolutely clear on what I wanted out of my partner. And at the end of the day, you have to think both individualistic and as a team. So if you're out there manifesting like your dream partner, I want you to focus in on how you're becoming who you want to see in a partner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you want to see in a partner.
Yeah, what you want to see in a partner. So, so I think I'll give an example of this, right? So I've been told that prior to Sarah, I was single for quite a while, and that's because I was being really picky and choosy with who I shared in my immediate life. You know, I used to be quite a private person. I say used to be because I don't know.
Do you not think
I've shared a lot of like I had a podcast surrounding like dating and sex and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I was a guest.
Yes, you were. Anyway, so I think one example of that would be when I first moved to the Gold Coast and I met someone, and the first meeting was really great. Had a lot in common, had a lot of mutual friends, which was amazing and really rare to find as soon as you move to a new place. I asked, this person out on a date and they accepted. However, on the day of the date, I think we went out for breakfast. It was super low key, went out for coffee and breakfast. And literally, I sat down for breakfast. And as I sat down, I got a message saying, "Oh, sorry, I can't make it. I've double booked myself." Now, my version of high standard is that I want the effort to be reciprocal. So if I'm putting energy and effort into someone, then I expect that back as of the very least, right? And also a little bit of common courtesy and communication. If you know that you're not going to make it, don't leave it till 5 minutes before a date. And you'll get this as well, because if say, for example, a guy did that to you and you'd done all your makeup and you got dressed and you bought an outfit for the date, whatever it might have been, like how gutted would you have been because you've spent all this time and money and investment in yourself to then, go and not go on the date. So I took that opportunity upon myself to sit and have breakfast by myself, and it was actually lovely. And I loved that. So yeah,
But then how did you deal with that with the person?
I just said, look, I'll give you grace this one time because I know you're busy and I know you're a busybody. However,
you see that, like, I'll give you grace this one time.
No, not quite. But in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. Like in my head, I was like, okay, once, okay, we can deal with that. Let's just see if it happens again.
Yeah, fair.
And lo and behold, it happened again. Try to organize something, or times didn't work out, or whatever. Just there wasn't a lot of effort on their part. So I just said, look, not for me. Let's not pursue anything, because clearly you seem disinterested, or I've got other things going on, and that's absolutely fine. However, a little bit of communication, and don't say yes for the sake of saying yes. It could be people pleasing tendencies. I don't know.
It's flaky energy, isn't it?
It's just flaky, and that just doesn't fly with me at all.
Yeah.
If you're a flaky like person, I have gotten zero tolerance for that. Because I feel like I put a lot of effort into friendships and relationships and all the rest of it. So
that's what I'm saying as well. Like if you can offer something, if you like, I know that you're, if you say you're in, that's the kind of person that you are. So that is it more than okay for you to have that standard and expectation of someone else. So absolutely. I think especially like if you're starting something new with someone and they're already displaying signs that they're flaky or that they are not good at communicating or they're not fully committed, or not that you expect someone to be fully committed, but like if they say they're going to be somewhere, you expect them to be there. Exactly. If they're already displaying those signs at the beginning, when it should really be like interested, effort, reciprocal arrangements, like that's kind of when people should be on their best behavior, basically. And if at that point they're not, then that's a red flag in my opinion. It's like, okay, it's only going to kind of
spiral
get less sparkly from here. And what's that actually going to look like? Can I tell you something as well?
Yeah.
We were friends when you were going on a date with that person, and you told me that whole story. And I think maybe up until that point, because you'd showed so much interest towards me, I think maybe I had a story that maybe you didn't have standards. Not that I'm saying like I wasn't of a standard for you, but like I think because you were just like was so like
Keen.
open about your interest, I thought, oh, maybe he just like, I don't know, maybe he just isn't a really available person with everyone. That was just a story that I made up. I know that's not true.
Yeah.
But then I remember when you told me that story, I thought it made all of a sudden you seem really more appealing to me.
Interesting.
I remember thinking, oh, that's actually really sexy that he told this person, like, no, I'm not going to be walked all over, and I have this standard that like you will show up if you're going to say like whatever you said. Like I thought, oh, I'm glad he's like that. Like it made you seem more like you have standards, and that was sexy,
more attractive.
And you weren't just a walkover. Like it completely shot down the story that I had about you, and I was like, oh, that was quite nice actually that I got that story like proven wrong.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't think I ever told you that, did I?
No, it's the first time I'm hearing it.
Surprise!
Interesting.
But yeah, I wonder if that's what that was like a turning point.
Turn the dial for you towards me. I don't know. You can only ask yourself that.
I reckon there was a few little kind of moments, little synchronistic moments that.
Tell me more.
I wonder if that was like one kind of moment there where I thought, oh, I think like I guess this is a side note, but I'm sure a lot of people will relate to this. Like there needs to be a bit of like, what's the word? Like there needs to be a bit of someone not being fully available to you. Yeah. And I think that makes someone seem a bit more attractive. Like if they're not fully all in, or if someone else is interested in them, or if they're slightly aloof, it kind of draws people in a little bit more. It kind of leaves a bit more room for curiosity rather than everything just being on the table straight away.
Yeah, it's the mystery behind.
I think there needs to be a little bit of that. As much as I don't like games, I like to be transparent, and I do like to lay things on the table. I do think there needs to be a little bit of mystery and curiosity and wonder. And I think that maybe sparked. That was like, wonder. Like, oh, I wonder what else I was wrong with about you. Not that I made up heaps of stories, but I wonder if that was like the start of it.
Maybe. You never know. Have you got an example where you found that your standards were met with someone else's different type of high standards, I guess? Yeah,
I've got a few. Well, there's that one that I've spoken about heaps probably on the podcast, the person that I was dating before you. But there was a person that I was in a situationship, I guess you could call it, the year before we met. And I remember, I think I've maybe spoken about them, allowing them back in. They would kind of disappear again, and I would be all hurt and like, oh, I'm so hurt. And then they would come back in, I would allow them back in again. But I remember at the end of that, just saying like, I actually want to be, like my standard now is that I want someone that's willing to work towards building a relationship with me. And unless you can meet me there and that's what you're wanting to work towards as well, this isn't going to work. Yeah. And there was like a really kind of flaky, ambivalent, oh, well, like this is good and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I want to work towards building a relationship with someone. Exactly. If that's not you, that's okay. I respect where you're at. Yeah. But if you can't meet me where I'm at, then this isn't worth continuing for me. Yeah. Which is completely fair. Yeah. And you're so in your right to express that. Yeah, no, I knew what I wanted at that point. Exactly. And I think after 4 times of allowing them back in, I was like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't what you want. What was the catalyst for that then? What was the final, like, okay, this needs to change? Because I realized that I actually did want a relationship. I think up until that point, I was either telling myself I didn't, or I genuinely just wasn't ready to be in a relationship again. I'd just still been dealing with my past relationship, like stuff from that. And so I think I just wasn't really ready. And then I kind of realized like I enjoyed being with him and like in his company. And I thought, oh shit, this actually maybe is what I want then, is someone that like a relationship. I do want a relationship now. And I thought, well, I'll just see if that's what he wants. And if not, then I'll go and find someone else who does. And I just made that really clear. And like respect to the person, because that's just not what they wanted. Yeah, exactly. And that's also okay if your high standards don't match someone else's. It's not even, I guess that one may be more like my expectation. Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Yeah. I had higher expectation than them of what like we would have been working towards. Yeah. But I think it's really important to communicate that, because I could have just gone and repeated another 5th or 6th cycle of like letting them come back in, calling it off, them disappearing, letting them back in again when they come back around. Like I saved myself from some more disappointment and perceived rejection by just getting clear on what I wanted and communicating that expectation and that standard. Yeah. And again, that's why I think it's so important to get clear on like what you want from a person, not just like in terms of values and like life path, etc. But like, what do you want in terms of dating? Like, are you okay with a situationship? And you need to communicate that. Are you looking to build something with someone? Are you open to seeing where it goes? Do you just want sex? Like, what is your standard or your expectation in that regard? Because I think you need to communicate that pretty early on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I feel like that might come with an age thing though. Hey,
I was just thinking that.
I feel like the more obviously the older I get, the more I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like cutthroat. I'm like, okay, do you want kids, family? Like, what are your expectations for the next 3 to 5 years? Like, how ambitious are you? Like, do you really see yourself in, like, where do you see yourself in that period?
Yeah.
Those are the sort of questions that I asked myself or did ask myself about you, but then we quickly found that out really easily.
Yeah. One thing that we did as well in terms of like, I guess as we're on the topic of expectations, and I think we did mention this in another episode, but we had really like open conversations about our expectations of like our future, you know, like Lewis is saying, in terms of our goals and like whether we want children or not and when, and whether like what our views are on marriage.
Yeah, just how it looked.
Yeah, like how we'll communicate, what our standards are around like how we want to live, and like do we have a clean home, like we basically talked about like all the kind of like
all
obvious stuff
details, yeah.
But then we really went into a lot more detail, and I think we mentioned it, but we actually printed out a relationship expectation list, and it's a big, long, lengthy list.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard us talk about it already, and it literally covered everything. Like, what are your expectations around who takes the bins out? What are your expectations on like having relationships with the opposite sex? What are your expectations on who would wake up to feed the baby?
Yeah.
What are your expectations on when we'll go and visit family? How often we'll visit family?
Yeah.
What kind of effort I will make? What are your expectations on gifts? And like literally everything. Yeah. And it was so good to get clear.
Yeah, collect all the data and like pitch it back to each other and say, hey, look, this is what mine came out with. This is what yours came out with. We sat down and like
compared the two.
Because
we filled them out individually.
Yeah. And we were pretty well aligned.
We also just had our friend come round, and we are the friends that speak about dating and relationships to everyone.
Yeah.
We already were anyway. Like, we were the friends that just people come to for dating and relationship advice. So we were speaking to him about his dating life, and he said something like, how did he word it? He was like, I think I need to go to therapy because I'm always thinking about what value a partner should add to my life, as if it was a problem to consider how your relationship should be reciprocal. Because he's a really giving person. Like, he does a lot for people. He's really thoughtful and considerate. And he was thinking that because he's so picky about his standard of finding someone that's a giver and finding someone that will add value to his life, he thought it was a problem and he needed to go to therapy. I was like, no. Whoa.
No.
Rewind. Hold the bus. That is not a problem. Because if you're a giver, you need to find another giving person, because it's going to be hell ass draining if you don't. If you're going to be constantly giving, and that person isn't a giver, they're just going to receive, your cup's going to feel very empty very fast, and it's probably not going to be a very fulfilling relationship.
No, that can create a lot of resentment, and it could lead to a hostile environment because you feel like all of your energy has been taken out by this person. So, to have it reciprocated is like, I know the feeling because I've been there.
Same.
And like I feel it deep, but to have it the way it is now, because both of us are naturally giving people,
it's so
nice, and it can take time to figure that out, but to have the level of communication that we had at the start, I think really helped us figure out what we value and what our expectations are within the relationship. So
I'll say it again, it's okay to ask for what you know you offer. Like, literally keep your standards high.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And like, don't hold any shame for that. Like, there is someone out there that will meet your high standards and your expectations. Like, if you know you are asking for what you give and you're doubting that someone out there has the ability to do the same, you're almost like doubting your own like kindness and your own like natural ability to give. Like, if you're dying that there's someone out there that will do the same for you, like, you know you exist and you know that you're able to give that, so of course there's going to be someone else that can match that, or that has the same kind of giving nature, or, you know, whatever it is that your high standard is regarding. Like, keep your standards high. That end, full stop.
Full stop. Could you even conceive of someone being even more of a giver than what you are, if you perceive yourself as a giver? How foreign and unfamiliar would that feel?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're so used to giving, and you feel like you've never been on the other end of that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? How unfamiliar would that feel? It feels so nice. Even the slightest of things.
I think that's why people can push it away. Like, I think that's why I was so resistant to your emotional availability, because it was so unfamiliar. I think sometimes even when things are good for us, if it doesn't feel familiar, you'll most likely reject it, because on a nervous system level, it doesn't feel safe because it's so unfamiliar.
Yeah. No,
so it can just then in turn counterintuitively feel unsafe and scary because you're not used to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's a whole other topic.
A whole other for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think it does really highlight the importance of communicating expectations as well, like Lewis said. As much as it's important to get clear on what you want and who you are and what you expect, and you're starting like to have high standards, you can't go into a relationship just having these standards and expecting your partner to meet them. You have to communicate what you want. You have to communicate your standard, and you have to make sure that they're willing to meet you there. And you also have to be willing to compromise, because sometimes people are going to disappoint you and they're not always going to be able to meet your expectations. But that's where good communication comes in, and letting people know what you expect, if they've let you down, if they haven't said what they were going to do. That's why communication really matters.
Yeah. Integrity is a big thing that we both speak about in that regard. I feel like most of the time we are very integral with our words, and there's only been 2 occasions that I can recall that I haven't lived up to that. And
don't hold to them.
No, I don't. But I'm just like picking apart. I mean, out of the relationship that we've had already, it's been what, like 9-10 months?
The relationship that we've had already. I don't know why that made me just think of like, this is the relationship that we're having now, and then we're going to have another one. I don't know why. The relationship that we've had so far.
Yeah, so far.
And then we'll have our next one, like together, obviously.
Up till now, and I pride myself on my integrity, and that's one of my like standards, I guess.
Yeah, being integral, keeping to your word.
To your word. That's why the date that I went on, over a year ago now, didn't work out, because you know they weren't integral to their word.
Yeah.
So that's where we match up, and I've tried my hardest to match up to that.
It's really funny. The dogs are just literally, they've got zoomies now. They actually have got full-blown zoomies, and they're barking, but I'm pretty sure the sound doesn't get picked up by the microphone. But they're very distracting. We did not think getting a puppy through in terms of recording a podcast.
No, we didn't.
Maybe we're going to have to go to a studio or something.
But we're here. Oh, a studio would be fun.
That would be nice.
Wow, could you imagine?
We'll make our own studio. Okay, I'm getting ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is that.
I know. Any more points on that before we move on?
Nothing that springs to mind.
No? Okay.
So what is our tip of the week?
Our tip of the week this week,
it's Lou's tip of the week,
Miss Maxwell, is make a list of what you want in a partner, which we've already touched on. Make a list that you can offer someone, and I want you to align that with your own authenticity. Make it like super specific, and make it without any materialistic things, because quite often we, you know, get muddled up with a materialistic side of expectations and lists. However, I want you to focus on the feeling. Now, how do you want to feel when this person gives you a certain thing on this list? Quite often we don't tap into the feeling side of things. We just list things without wondering how we're going to feel. So I want you to go away, homework, go and make a list of things that align with you and your authenticity that you offer, and think about how you feel within that list.
Yeah, and I guess that applies to single people. We know we have quite a lot of single listeners. So if you're single and you're looking for a partner, get clear on what's really important to you and make a list of what you want in that person, like Lewis said. Just really try and avoid things like they have to be a certain height, or they have to drive a certain car or have a certain type of job or this amount of money in the bank, the dog literally just bashed her head on the door. She ran into the door. Oh my God.
I think Finley just ran into the door. Buddy.
But yeah, so just make a list on what you want in a partner and make sure that it aligns with what you know you give and who you are. But yeah, like Lewis said, consider how you want to feel in that relationship as well. And keep your standards high.
Yeah. And keep your pants up higher.
Why?
Why not?
You had no answer for that. Why would you
I don't know. I did not expect anyone a question.
Why would you keep your pants high? What even is that?
I don't know. You remember I'm weird.
Oh yeah. Keep your pants high. Sure.
I don't know why I've meant that, like physically, because I always walk around with my pants up high.
Yeah.
I don't know where my mind wandered off to anyway. Let's cancel that.
This is
Cancel,
the tiredness.
cancel.
The tiredness is coming in.
Anyway, moving on to our weekly feature. We'll go with weird moment of the week first.
Yeah. Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first. What's my weird moment of the week?
So we were lying in bed, maybe like a couple of nights, no, Tuesday night, I think it was. And we were literally just about to drift off to sleep. Like we've done peach pie, pineapples, plum. And we were just kind of like chatting a little bit before we were about to turn the light off. And then we have Google Home Hub in the bedroom. So like you can ask it questions, voice automated. And Lewis just goes, "Hey, Google, play Noddy." And I was like, what? What? Like, it's literally 9 p.m. or like 8:30 p.m. What the hell? Like, where has that come from, first of all? Why do you want to listen to it right now?
Do you remember the theme tune?
Well, I do know because you played it at 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Yeah, look, yeah. And then we literally listened to the whole song. And I didn't realize how long the actual song is.
Yeah, the theme tune's pretty long. Anyway, it was a good. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I had a great time.
Weird.
I had a great time.
It just came. There was no context.
No,
none.
No.
So yeah, we enjoyed the full song of Noddy at that time.
Yeah.
What's it called? Nursery rhyme? No, what are they called?
It's a TV show.
No, like sleep songs for kids. What are they called? Lullabies. That was our lullaby.
Sleep song for kids. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like that was a good description of a lullaby. If you didn't know what a lullaby was.
Yeah, you're right. You're
it's
right.
A sleep song for kids.
Sorry to doubt you.
Fuck you.
Sarah, that's twice in the last like 30 minutes. I'm starving.
I'm sorry. Let's go.
Anyway, so your weird moment of the week is turning around to me on Tuesday night after we both finished work and saying that you've got a dog and we're picking it up on Thursday.
It was definitely more of an agreed conversation than that.
It was an agreed conversation. Sarah literally
prior months have been planning these.
Sarah was looking at dogs over the weekend, and then all of a sudden on Tuesday she'd been messaging people about dogs, and then turned around and said
I'd gained permission from you.
We'd agreed over the weekend that we'd commit to getting a dog. Anyway, it was just funny the way that you turned around and said, "We're picking them up Thursday." Like, okay, cool.
Oh my God.
Date night, Thursday after work. Let's just drive 3 hours out into the bush and then pick up a dog and then drive 3 hours back.
Yeah, it was a very, very long
It was
drive.
a long day. We got home at like about 1 a.m.
We got home at like 12. Midnight. Yeah.
Then went to bed around 1 a.m. Anyway, that was your weird moment of the week this week.
Fair.
Yeah, that was quite fun. It's an experience, wasn't it?
Oh my God, he's literally like ripping the couch with his teeth.
Anyway, this is going to be a feature. What are the dogs doing on podcast day?
He's going to bark. I really hope you can't hear any of his barking. But anyway.
Moving on to peach papaya, pineapple, plum.
Wow, the 9 Ps. No, 5. There's still 5. I haven't added any more yet.
Nope. Okay, so starting off with pit. What was your pit of the week, Sarah?
I know they're going to be the same.
Okay.
Lack of sleep.
100% correct.
Yeah, it's like having a baby having this puppy.
Yeah. I think I didn't sleep maybe 2 days prior to that either.
Oh really?
I was up and down, remember?
Oh yeah, because I remember you kept me awake.
Yeah, two sleepless nights anyway, and then we got a dog on Thursday, and then
we've had 3 sleepless nights since.
We haven't slept since. Anyway, this is prime runners for having a baby, so I'm not mad about it, but I'm also mad about it because
we're doing really well.
We are honestly doing really well. We're such a great team.
We're checking in with each other. We're like assigning responsibilities, making sure we're okay with them. We're taking turns.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Good test. We're doing really well.
Yeah, we are. And he's a happy little puppy. Look, he's just roaming around here.
He's a good little doggy.
Anyway, peak of the week, it's going to be the same, I reckon.
Getting the dog.
Getting the dog. There we go. How's about that?
Are these going to be the same?
By the way, guys, we always do peak papaya, pineapple, and
Separately.
plum separately, so we never know what we're going to say. So
yeah, I don't know why we did that. Why we made that a thing, but we just
do it separately.
Yeah.
Just in case this happens. Anyway, my papaya of the week.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to be the same.
No. It's going to be different. Watching our neighbor.
No, but that's what mine was going to be because you.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nah. So on Friday, I took the day off work and I was standing by the window looking after the dog, and all of a sudden, our neighbor walks out with my bicycle. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Which is in the locked up, like, underground car park.
Exactly. No one can access it
other than neighbors.
Actually live here. Anyway, all I see is just our neighbor walking out on my bike, and it's got Sarah's wetsuit in it. And I was like, what the hell? Phone Sarah. I was like, hey, look, I'm pretty sure our neighbor just walked out of our place with a bike.
I was raging.
Yeah, Sarah was on one, and
my wetsuit was in the basket.
Yeah, it was. And then I was like, oh gosh, what do I do? I can't exactly go to his house and stuff. Anyway, I waited for him to come back, and I caught him taking the bike into his house, like a way to go into his house. So I shouted from the top deck, because we're on like a 2-tier building. I shouted, I was like, oh mate, that's my bike. And he turned around and he just like was just like nothing there. So I went down and got the bike off him eventually, and I ended up having to hose down the bike because there was ice cream all over it. So clearly he just like stole the bike to go down to McDonald's down the road, get a McFlurry, and then come home.
Didn't you say he clearly looked like he was under the influence of an illicit substance?
He absolutely was. His eyeballs, one eye was going to the shop, the other was coming back with a change. And he had ice cream all over his face.
And my wetsuit, apparently.
All over Sarah's wetsuit. So I had to hose down the bike outside.
Yeah, what on earth? Now they're chained up, aren't they?
Yeah, they're chained up downstairs. But bless him, I hope he gets the love and help that he needs. But yeah, that was my papaya of the week. That was a strange moment.
And we just saw him just now, and he was like trying to tell us that someone's going around stealing bikes, and we were like, oh yeah, touche. Yeah, funny
cool.
that.
Cool, bro. Thanks.
I think maybe under the influence of an illicit substance again, perhaps one may assume.
And also, we do not live in that sort of building.
No, that's not.
We actually live in such a nice building, but it's just
you can't choose who your neighbors are.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those things. Anyway, what's your papaya of the week?
That was my papaya of the week.
Oh, that was yours as well?
That's what I was saying.
Oh my God, stop.
The fact that our neighbour stole your bike and my wetsuit.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to pineapples, and I'm pretty sure they'll be different.
Yeah, I think these will be different.
Okay, so pineapples is our gratefuls for the week. So what are you grateful for this week, Sarah?
I am really grateful for cooler nights and drier days. Like, there was so much rain in the summer, and it just was like unbearable, basically. Like the heat, the rain, it just wasn't like you couldn't even go outside and enjoy summer for what you'd expect summer to be. So yeah, I'm really grateful that now the nights are cooler. We actually have stopped sleeping with the aircon on, so maybe our electricity bills will be cheaper.
Yeah, it's a big deal as well. So
yeah,
Sarah loves that aircon.
I do, but just because I like a good night's sleep, full night sleep without waking up boiling. Yeah, and it's just nicer to, I don't know, get out and enjoy the fresh air. I think that's what it is. It's the fresh air.
Yeah, the fresh air has been really nice.
Anyway, I feel like such a British person talking about the weather, or like an old person.
I think we've mentioned the weather in almost every single
I was just thinking that, and I'm like, ew, what does that mean about us?
We're from the UK. So
yeah, okay, cool.
Fine.
I'm also really grateful for the fact that we have really amazing friends that are aligned with us.
That's literally one of mine.
Oh, of course it is. But yeah, it's just really nice. Like, we always speak about this, don't we? How your friends are a mirror. So like, if you have friends that are maybe not depicting who you think you are, or like who you want to be, it's like a mirror. So it's like, where do you maybe need to shift more into alignment with who you really want to be?
Yeah.
But I feel like our friends really are truly in alignment with us, and I like them. So I hope that means that we are likable people too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And my third one, what's my third grateful? Having you. Am I one of yours?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, joking. Yeah, having like a partner that actually shares responsibility and that wants to work with me, and like, I just never feel like there's any underlying expectation for things to be done by me, or that things won't be halved and shared. Like there's never any of that. Like we just communicate about all of our expectations, but I think that's been particularly noticeable with the dog. Like you just really make an effort to share responsibility and do your bit and I do my bit, and it's just really refreshing, and it does actually give me like confidence. And not that I ever doubted us, but like obviously when we do want to have children, it does give me confidence that like we'll be a team with that as well, and that it definitely won't just fall on me completely to like figure that out, I guess, and work on myself. So thank you. I'm very grateful for you, darling.
Thank you, darling.
You?
Oh, me, sorry.
Yes, you.
Okay, so one of my pineapples for the week, well, my actual first one is the exact same as yours, so I'm very grateful for you just being an excellent communicator. So whenever you're feeling, I don't know, either disconnected, or if you're feeling a certain way, or if you're feeling I'm tired, I can pick up the responsibility.
Yeah,
those kind of things. I'm really grateful that you're able to, or feel safe enough to tell me those things.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's because you make me feel, yeah, that's almost like you're being grateful to yourself, because like I can only share how I'm feeling, what's on my mind, or what feels off, because I know it'll be received well and not with offensiveness. So like you're like, thank you to me. That's what you
No,
I know. It's like a two-way thing.
I'm saying that because I've been in situations in relationships before where I haven't had that. I haven't had that openness and someone saying that they feel a certain way. So I'm grateful for the fact that you actually do open up and tell me how you're feeling. And I know I make you feel safe enough to do that. And I appreciate that you think that I do that. And I know I do that. But I'm just saying thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So my second one was the same as Sarah's. Been surrounded by like-minded and really lovely friends who are so well aligned to who we are and who we want to become.
I think adding on to that, they reciprocate our effort.
Yeah, I think they do.
They're very
absolutely
mutual.
do. Yeah, I think everything is very mutual, even though we don't see a lot of our friends every single week, which is absolutely fine.
It's life, isn't it?
It's just I'm very grateful that we've got them.
Me too.
And I think I'm very grateful for actually being responsible for another entity on this planet. Because I've never really shared or had a big responsibility for something, another living thing. Because you've had dogs before. I've had dogs, but growing up, it wasn't really the same thing because mum and dad.
They were like your parent
care of that. So like, I'm grateful for the chance to have responsibility for another entity. And
he loves you very much.
Yes, he does.
I've seen him with the way that he snuggles into your neck and licks you on the nose. And I know. Oh, he's so cute.
What's your plum of the week? What is your intention for next
probably
week?
The same as yours.
What is that?
More sleep.
Prioritize sleep and recovery.
Yeah, and I literally have I was thinking like about sleep and having a slow week. This week, like it's been beautiful, but we've been quite social, haven't we? Not in like an overbearing, overwhelming way, but maybe we can just have a slower one this week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would align well with me.
Yeah, and where we're at with our sleep deprivedness.
Sleep deprived puppy. Is that madness. A word? Deprivedness? Maybe not.
Deprivation. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Sleep deprivation. Deprivedness.
I got deprivedness.
Anyway, on that note, folks, we're going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a wonderful week.
See you next time.
Stay safe.
Hey guys, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you so bloody much. You are the best.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Apple or Spotify, whatever you prefer. And don't forget to check out the Instagram page at TDHR Podcast.
Information on how you can write your questions into us will also be in the show notes. Till next time. Mwah.